James Potter, Remus Lupin, Sirius Black, Peter Pettigrew, Pause for Breath, and the Prisoner of Azkaban by gonzoclock. Chapter 14. Why do we need to bring them again? Why do we need to bring them again? Ron asks, reaching out a hand to steady himself on Hermione's shoulder. Hermione brushes him off and tucks the necklace chain back under her shirt. Lily is holding young Snape, up. Because, Ronald, Hermione says. Lily single-handedly entered the last Wizarding Ball, and Snape, come on, you saw him last year at the dueling thing. Hang on, Lily says, looking up. Hang on. Pettigrew said I died. Hermione sighs, and Ron shoots a glare at her. He loves Hermione, he really does, but she tends to vacillate between having too much empathy and too little empathy, and right now definitely calls for some empathy. Lily, can I call you Lily? Ron starts. Lily nods after a half second of hesitation. Neat, I'm Ron. Anyways, you did die. Pettigrew, Ron shudders, trying not to think about Scabbers. Pettigrew didn't lie. He just left a couple key details out is all. Explain, Snape says, crossing his arms. First, we need to get out of the common room, Hermione says, looking around nervously. Come on, I know a place that'll stay empty. She leads him out of the tower and into an abandoned classroom, a fair distance away. She closes the door, locks it with a complicated charm, and then turns to Ron and gestures for him to keep going. Ron takes a breath. Lily, the Dark Lord came to kill you, your husband and infant son. He killed your husband. We all know it's James, Snape intones. We're not blind. Lily elbows him, glaring. Ron grimaces. Right, sorry. Anyway, he killed James, then killed you. Then he shot a point-blank Avada at your son's face. Only it rebounded and killed the Dark Lord instead, thanks to something you did. Holy shit, Lily breathes, looking sick. That scar on that boy Harry's forehead? Hermione nods. I know this is a lot, Ron starts, feeling overwhelmed for them. No, Lily says, shaking her head. No, we have bigger things to worry about. How long do we have before we need to stop Pettigrew? 1 hour, Hermione says. But time turners are a new thing. How did you... The sun went backwards, Snape cuts in. It's not hard to extrapolate what happened. Neat, you haven't changed at all, Ron says, marveling. Snape shoots him a glare, which just further proves this point, in Ron's mind. What are the stipulations? Lily asked. We can't stop anything from happening that we know is going to happen. So no grabbing Pettigrew now. The timeline is a closed loop anyway. So it doesn't matter what we try to do unless we run into ourselves. That'll be bad. What would happen? Ron cuts in, feeling apprehensive. No idea, but the time turner gets hot if it gets close to itself. Was it hot? Lily starts. Hermione pulls the neck of her shirt down a bit, showing the edge of a nasty-looking blister. Ron lets out a little hiss. Anyone know how to heal? I'm fine, Ron, Hermione says, pulling her shirt back up. I'll grab some paste for it in a second. There'll be plenty where we're headed. Ron's heart sinks. He has a pretty good idea of what Hermione is alluding to. Hospital wing? Ron asks anyway. Hermione rolls her eyes and Ron sighs. It was worth a shot. We are not going to me, Snape says frostily. Absolutely not. What do you have against that idea? Lily asks. Besides the part where we just learned that he may or may not be a double agent for the Dark Lord? Let me think. Alright, I don't want to see him, and he sure as hell won't want to see me. Lily sighs. He'll probably want to see me, she says, at least. Snape falls quiet. I'd want to see my best friend if you'd been dead 18 years, any version of you, Lily says softly. And I don't think you're playing double agent. I think you're playing triple agent. What if I don't want to find out? Snape finally whispers, looking down at his hands. I'm sorry, Hermione says, a tad impatiently, but we need to get down there. Wait, Ron says, why not just find Professor Lupin? Hermione raises an eyebrow. You do realize it's not impossible for a werewolf to turn outside of a full moon, right? Oh shit, Ron says. Okay, yeah, maybe not Lupin. Snape gets a vindicated gleam in his eyes, and Ron points at him. last two defense teachers personally tried to kill me, Hermione and Harry, in one way or another. Werewolf is our best bet here, regardless of the fact that Lupin's the best defense teacher the school has probably ever seen. Don't fuck that up for us, Snape. Snape narrows his eyes, but nods. Right, Lily says. We go to Professor Sev, then what? Hermione grimaces. Let him take it from there? That is a terrible idea, Snape says. Well, we need to get in there and keep Pettigrew from killing Sirius or Harry. And Pettigrew clearly thinks Snape is a double agent. We can use that, Ron says. This is going to be miserable, Snape says into his hands. How long do we have? Lily asks Hermione, who pulls out her watch. 45 minutes, Hermione says. Let's go then, Ron says. Hermione unlocks the door and they begin to make their way down the dungeons. They have some close calls with running into other people, but Hermione's apparently had months of practice at this, so she expertly shepherds them through secret passages and classrooms with multiple entrances. Ron can't help but be impressed, even though he should really be past that point when it comes to Hermione. Hey, Hermione, Ron whispers, something having just occurred to him. Does Crookshanks have a favorite treat? I think I owe him an apology. Hermione snorts. And you too, Ron continues. Sorry, I was being a dick. We'll talk about this later, Hermione says, but thank you. Ron smiles and goes back to following her lead. Hermione stops in front of Professor Snape's office door, then takes a deep breath. Ron glances at the other two. Snape? Ron's just going to start calling him Severus in his head, otherwise he's going to get confused. And Lily share a glance, and Lily reaches down and squeezes Severus' hand. Severus' face is completely blank as Hermione reaches up and knocks on the office door. At first, there's silence. Then, they hear a cold voice say, "This had better be an emergency." Lily snorts, and Severus shoots her a glare. "Sorry, you just sound so like you," Lily whispers. "Oh, I'd say so," Hermione calls back after a moment. There's another beat of silence, then the door swings open. Professor Snape is already glaring and halfway through saying, "What's Potter done this?" when he catches sight of Lily and Severus. "Professor, huh? Dumbledore really screwed you over, Sev," Lily says, wasting no time in pushing past the stunned man into his office. "Oh, how dungeony! I like it. It just screams, leave me alone." "Miss Granger," Professor Snape says, face blank. Ron sees his eyes dart over to where Severus is standing, stiff as a board. "What have you done?" "This isn't actually the emergency we were talking about," Ron says, wincing. "Sorry." 20 points from Gryffindor, Professor Snape says. Then he reaches up and rubs his face tiredly. "In, all of you in." Ron follows Hermione in, trying not to shudder at having not one but two Severus Snapes walking in behind him. Lily is already seated in Snape's office chair. "Off," he says, jerking his head. Lily rolls her eyes but goes to sit in one of the other chairs. Snape sits down, then raises an eyebrow. "Where's Potter?" Snape asks. Ron stamps down hard on the flare of rage he feels threatening to overtake him as he remembers Harry's terrified face. Harry doesn't like being touched at all, much less by adults who wish him harm. He shuts right down. Ron bites the inside of his cheek, willing himself to calm down. He should have put Scabbers out of his misery years ago. "Being held hostage by Ron's pet rat, half an hour from now," Hermione says. Snape buries his face into his hands. Severus is looking at him with an expression of tired sympathy, and Lily snorts again. "At least it's not a basilisk again?" Ron hedges. Lily and Severus turn to look at him as one, horror painting their faces. Ron grimaces. "Tell you later," he says. "I told Minerva the time turner was a mistake," Snape mutters, then looks up. "I was a rat holding Potter hostage." "Turned out Scabbers was an animagus this whole time," Ron says, digging his nails into his palm so he doesn't throw up. "And Sirius Black was framed. He's totally innocent." "Why me?" Snape says. Ron thinks it's rhetorical, but Hermione says, "We didn't want to risk Professor Lupin turning wolf, and Dumbledore is a dick." Snape looks at her for a long moment, then sighs again. "Oh, and it's not just Harry," Ron pipes up. "He's also got the marauders, Fred and old Sirius. He was about to kill old Sirius when we got away with the time turner." He also has the Philosopher's Stone, Lily adds. Hermione shoots a glare at her, and she glares right back. He's planning on bringing Voldemort back with it, and then presenting Harry to him, Severus says, watching Professor Snape closely. Snape flinches minutely at the name, and both Severus and Ron narrow their eyes at him. Well, Snape says after a moment, you said we have half an hour until this happens? 24 minutes now, Hermione replies, looking down at her watch. Snape leans back, brow furrowed. Pettigrew thinks you're a double agent, Lily prompts. We thought we might be able to use that, catch him off guard. Snape raises an eyebrow at her. If he was so sure, why would you come to me? Severus nods. Because I know you, Lily says. We're best friends, or were, I guess, but I still know you. You might have fallen for his bullshit for a minute, but I have no doubt you came to your senses in no time at all. I'm the reason you died, Snape says flatly. I gave the Dark Lord intel that led him right to you and your family. There's dead silence in the room. Ron exchanges a wide-eyed glance with Hermione. This Harry needs to know. Then Lily nods matter-of-factly. Which then caused you to come to your senses, like I said, right? Severus smacks his forehead. Snape looks at her for a long moment, a disbelieving look on his face. Right, he says, finally, then clears his throat. I don't know what else I expected, to be honest. So, Severus presses, the plan? Pettigrew is going to see you disappear, Snape says. What makes you think he won't kill someone right off the bat? Ron snaps his fingers, remembering something. Burn paste. Snape looks at him, then sighs and summons a vial that he tosses it to Hermione. She rolls her eyes and then turns around to apply it. There won't be much time for subterfuge, Snape muses. Not true, Lily says. Just pretend you caught us. That'll get Pettigrew to trust you, right? Recapturing his hostages? Snape looks at her. You can't honestly believe that I'm letting you people anywhere near Pettigrew again. I need to be there, Hermione says, turning back around and placing the vial on the desk. The time turner burned me, remember? The time turner reacts to itself, Snape says. I'll take it with me. You four will be staying here. We can help, Lily protests. You will help, Snape agrees, by keeping out of my way. Before anyone else can protest, the professor leans back in his chair and throws a pitch of flue powder into the fireplace. Lupin, he says. Yes, Lupin asks, tired face appearing in the flames. Come through a moment, will you? I have something to discuss with you. Lily, Ron, and Hermione all glare at the unrepentant professor as Lupin comes through the fireplace. Severus's face is completely blank. How can I help? Lupin says, eyes catching on Severus and Lily. He goes abruptly very pale and his eyes bleed amber. Quite, Snape says, then checks his watch. Miss Granger, if you would. Hermione glowers at him all the while, but reaches down and puts the time turner over her head. She throws it at him rather forcefully, but he catches it easily. I have a bit of an errand to run, Snape says, looking back at the flabbergasted defense teacher. I hate to ask this of you. Ron thinks he sounds like he doesn't mind asking at all. But would you mind keeping an eye on these... I fear they'd meddle. Lupin hesitates, then nods. Snape inclines his head, then stands up smoothly. I'll be gone for around half an hour. Keep them occupied. With that, he stalks out of his office, not sparing a single backwards glance. That went well, Ron says glumly. It's the chess game and the cave-in at the chamber all over again. Why is it he can never manage to support Harry when and where it counts? I don't trust him, Severus says. Not even a little bit. I do, Lily says, leaning back and folding her arms. But that was a dick move. Thanks a lot, Seb. I refuse to associate myself with that man, Severus says. Lily scoffs and Severus glares. Would someone mind explaining to me what exactly is happening here? Lupin asks, looking a bit lightheaded. Notes. Severus Snape was really out here thinking it couldn't get worse than the marauders showing up in 1993. Boy, was he wrong. So, that was chapter 14. It's over. I'm doing a whole bunch of new things, aren't I? So I think I already said this. I'm looking at probably discontinuing more of the stuff. I'll probably still do like a handful of ones if I find them really interesting, but I won't be actively looking for new marauder stuff. If I come across something, but I'm not going to be actively looking for it. I'll probably stick to only actively. I've got way too many picks right now to be actively looking for anything, but I'll probably stick to the ones that I have now. I'll get through them. But yeah. Oh, I actually have way too many things open to worry about this. Doesn't matter. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you had fun. I definitely did. I'm too tired. I think I need to go eat. I keep on forgetting, and then I think you guys can hear it. My stomach rumbles. I'm like, oh no, shut up. I'm trying to record. Because I have a microphone, and it's like right in between my stomach and my mouth. So it's like, which one is it picking up? Anyway, I should really go eat. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Bye bye.